Okay, so welcome again. Today we're chatting about eating out, and not so much just eating out like at restaurants or cafes, but I guess it's eating when you're not making the meal yourself at home. So you could be going to someone else's house, just buying lunch out, or a coffee or a drink or whatever. So any time when you're not eating a meal that's at home. And I've got a bunch of questions here which everyone asked, and we'll go through them slowly and see how we go. So I guess, and this came up, people saying, what would you eat when you eat out? And people say, oh, well, I don't eat out. I don't want to eat out because it's too hard, or, I know it's going to be a meal that's higher in calories, but you do want to be able to eat out. You don't want to have to stay home or cook your own meals or take meals with you. When I did my bodybuilding comp, which was a bit extreme, I cooked my own meals and took them out wherever I went, which is quite antisocial. And I don't think my mum ever forgave me. But yeah, it's a bit extreme, and I don't think it's necessary. Probably the more you eat out, the harder it is to stick to your calories. So if you're eating out once a week, then you probably don't have to be quite so mindful of exactly what you're eating. But if you're eating out 3 to 4 times a week, or maybe you buy something every day, then that's probably when you need to look at what you're buying and just how it fits in, because there can be a lot of extras that will add up pretty quickly with what you're eating. So, and then how you fit it into your day. So, if you're trying to eat in a deficit or maintenance, it's your whole daily intake that matters. So I know some people will, and I have done this myself, eat slightly less during the day. So you sort of save your calories up for the dinner if you're eating out at night, which you can do. If you are doing that, you still need to keep your protein the same. So I would recommend still eating enough protein at breakfast and lunch. You might just reduce way back on your carbs and your fats, so you've got more for later on. But this can, something to be aware of is and you'll probably be hungry by the time you get to dinner if you haven't eaten as much as you usually do. If you're going to be ravenously hungry and then you go out, you may just binge on everything you can because you're so hungry, the bread basket, the chips. You might have an entree, a main and a dessert. And in the end, you might go so way over your calories. So you've got to weigh up if that will work for you, or if it's better to eat slightly more during the day then, so you can just pick something that's a little bit healthier when you eat out and enjoy it. I know one guy who, if he's going out for dinner, he'll have a protein shake for breakfast and a protein shake for lunch, and then he'll only eat food at dinner and have a huge meal. But I don't know if I'd recommend that, because personally, I would be absolutely starving by the time I got to dinner. And also, he's being a guy, he probably eats like 3,000 calories a day. So he can afford to eat a lot more. But if you haven't got as many, then just depends how you're going to go managing the hunger. But definitely, if you're going to do that approach, keep your protein up for breakfast and lunch. So I did it the other week, and I still had, for breakfast, like at the moment, I'm having yogurt, oats and fruit. So I just removed the oats. I still had yogurt and fruit. And then for lunch, what did I have? I think I had one sandwich thin with the same amount of ham and salad. So rather than 2 sandwich thins, I think that's what I did. I can't remember. But I was quite hungry by the time I got to 4 o'clock. We had takeaway, like ordered in. So I guess that prevents you from eating, if you're at a restaurant, just stuffing yourself on the bread basket and ordering extra. But that's one way you can do it. If you're eating out later in the day, reduce your calories earlier in the day. Or it could go the other way. If you're eating out at lunch, you might have a smaller breakfast, or maybe no breakfast if you can wait till lunch. Then have your lunch. And then you might just have a small dinner, probably because you're full from the lunch. So you may just have, well, you could have yogurt and fruit then, or just some chicken and vegetables, like a salad, without the rice or bread or whatnot. So that's one way to do it. If you're eating out more often, you probably don't want to do that. And so then you'll need to look at the choices that you're making when you eat out. So there's certainly some meal options that will save you calories. And out here in Australia, not many restaurants will list the calories in meals. In America, quite a few of them do. So that can be quite useful to see. Otherwise, you have to guess. So if you're actually tracking your food and you eat out, you just have to guess the best you can at what you're having. And I'd say, you know, you can sort of Google or search for whatever you're having. And then I'd add on another 20% of whatever you say. So if you go out and you order, I don't know, some kind of meat with vegetables, and you think, oh, that's probably 500 calories, then I'd add on another 100 calories to that, just to be on the safe side. Track it as 600 calories. I mean, you're never going to know how much protein you get, so you just have to guess. And it's not worth getting stressed out over. But it is harder if you eat out to track. So eating out, higher calorie options are probably things like your pasta, risotto. Sorry, Sophie. Like anything really great, like that's full of grains, quinoa, like obviously potato chips, things like that. Your creamy sauces will add extra calories. So if you're going to pick a sauce, try and go for a tomato-based one or vinegar-based one, like a dressing. Gravy's not actually too bad, although I guess some places may add oil to the gravy. Like if you make gravy at home, that's fine. But eating out, I guess they may add other things to it. But try and not get your creamy sauces, but go for tomato-based ones instead. Dressings and sauces, you may be able to ask for them on the side. So certainly ask the restaurant, the waiter that you've got, if you can get the sauce on the side. I guess sometimes when you can't do that is, I think we went to the Ed once and I did ask, but they'd already made this whole huge batch of salads up in bulk and mixed the dressing through it already. So you couldn't get it on the side, which didn't really know if that was a good thing. But otherwise, if they're making the salad up fresh, I don't see why they can't give it to you on the side. And then you can just add however much you want or dip your fork into it, dip whatever you want in there. So I think that's mostly, yeah, sauces. Cheesy sauces are going to add quite a few calories as well. Yeah, so I think that's mostly sauce. I guess if you're eating at home, like dressings that I use, for salads, you can get some low-fat dressings, some praise ones. Otherwise, I just add balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, mustard. What else do I have? Apple cider vinegar. You can mix up some good ones with that. I don't add any olive oil now to my dressings at home. I used to, but I don't now. So usually it just tastes fine without them. Yeah, so that's sauces or dressings. What's next? Yeah, requests at restaurants. I sort of went into that. I think, and I've been out with friends that will request all sorts of things on their meals. And it's probably something I never thought I would do, but I've seen a few other people do it. And like, well, I mean, one of our friends has a nut allergy, so he has to ask for all these questions, but he'll get like, and he's quite healthy, no potatoes, he'll have asparagus instead, or green beans instead of something else. He basically mixes his own meals up. So a good restaurant would probably help you out and do that. It probably depends where you're going, but there's no harm in asking or saying, you know, do you put butter on these vegetables? Like steamed vegetables often have butter or oil added to them. So just ask them. Don't assume they're just steamed and that's it. or ask them how they've cooked something. If you're not sure, you know, is that fried? Is it deep fried, grilled, whatever, and see if they can do it differently if you're not sure how it's done or if you want something else. So certainly ask, and yeah, probably the higher end restaurants will accommodate whatever you want. Get extra greens or your meat done differently if that's what you want. Someone asked the day before you go out. I think if you should basically not eat much. I probably wouldn't do that day before going out. Yeah, I just eat normally. And then just look at what you're doing on that day. If you wanted to make some adjustments, like not eating as much if you're going out for dinner, or and just concentrate on your protein. What to do the next day if you eat or drink it all? So I think that was more if you go out and you just totally blow it and end up eating and drinking everything. And then the next day, you probably feel a bit ordinary. Should I just not eat, not drink, whatever? Well, I would just get back on track straight away. So you might not want to eat. If you're usually eating a bit more than normal, you might just feel like eating a little bit less. But I still make sure you get your protein in and get back on the fruit and vegetables. That's the main thing. And you'll feel better straight away. Drink lots of water. So you certainly don't need to starve. And I think if you did not eat then, you'd get to another stage where you're just as hungry and probably not make good choices then. So you want to keep everything sort of as in the midline as possible, not going to the extremes. Let me just see what else we've got here. I think some other things about choosing what to eat on a menu. So for me, I look for a meat or a protein of some kind and vegetables. So that would mainly be either a salad or cooked vegetables. So maybe a stir fry or steamed vegetables, however else they're cooking them, boiling, whatnot. And I don't normally order something so with that many grains. I'll have some, but I wouldn't have a grain-based dish. And just for me, I find it just doesn't sit well with me anymore if I eat a big dish of pasta, especially out. I'll eat pasta at home, but if I ordered a pasta dish out, well, it would have to be tomato-based because creamy-based would just make me feel sick. And like I had a lead balloon in my stomach and I wouldn't feel good. Or I'd probably share it with the kids and have just a bit of theirs if that's what I wanted. What other dishes? I remember like in my before days, if I went to the pub, I'd always order a schnitzel and chips. And I remember thinking, you know, when I needed to lose weight, I thought, oh, I'm never going to have a schnitzel again, which is a bit silly. But the thing is now, if I go to the pub, I would never order a schnitzel just because it's, once again, too much for me, too rich and too much fatty stuff that wouldn't sit well in my stomach. So I'll make my own schnitzels at home in the air fryer. If we eat out, I'll have some chips. Sometimes pick them off my husband's plate or the kids' plate, or if we get a shared bowl, have some of them. Chips can be a bit of a weakness for me. I'm not the kind of person who can just have 5 chips and stop. So sometimes I'll have to say, I'm not going to have chips, because if I have one, I know it'll turn into 50 or half a bowl. And then obviously what you're dipping them in can have an impact as well. You know, tomato sauce is probably a better option than mayonnaise. What else is typically on menus? Like breakfast, if you're eating out, is generally pretty good. There's some good options, you know, eggs. You can get eggs on toast with vegetables. Mueslis can be a bit high in, like they'll add milk or apple juice. like a Bircher muesli, and probably the muesli itself would have sugar, quite high in sugar. So probably not the best option, but eggs are always good. You can have some bacon if you want. What other options are for breakfast? Oh, like maybe frittatas and that. They can get a bit high in fat with, probably made with cream. Scrambled eggs if you eat out. Usually so delicious because they're made with cream. Whereas at home you just add like a little dash of milk. It's not quite so rich, but that's why it tastes good when you go out. But you know, once again, if you're not eating out very often, then you can go ahead and have that. But if you're eating out regularly, you might want to rethink that choice. Other meal options. I should have got some menus up and had a look. I know. I'll just bring one up on my phone. I'll bring the Ed up. As Warwick went there today. The Ed Hotel. Starters. So I guess also when you're going out, if you can share a starter, I think that's a good way to just control how much you're going to eat as well, because then you won't eat the whole thing. So sharing can be good, and have a main and maybe pick either an entree or a dessert. Don't have both. But that, it depends on, you know, if you're only going out, haven't been out for a fortnight, then you might want to eat more. So lemongrass chicken sliders, they sound okay. I'd probably have them. Main course, so like barramundi with walnuts, potatoes, kale and broccolini and butter. So it's probably quite high in fat. Barramundi is a fattier fish, but it's probably nice. I would probably try that. There's a steak, so 300 grams. So when you think of your protein serving sizes, 300 grams is a lot. That's like double what you need. So, and when you order a steak, generally it is big, or chicken and that. So that would be a large slab of protein, but it would be nice. And that's served with like some cooked veg. So I'd probably get that. Pork cutlets. I think I had them once at the Ed and they weren't very nice. Rogan Josh. And I reckon I had that once. It's got papadums and steamed rice, and that was an absolute carb overload. I didn't like that. It was quite gluggy. So I wouldn't get that again. Korean pork bowl. That's probably not too bad. Rigatoni with lamb shank. Yeah, that's probably not my first choice of things to order. Middle Eastern bowl, falafels. The Nourish bowl. I think you were talking about that, weren't you, Sophie? Pumpkin puree, cauliflower, pomegranate. That sounds nice. Probably not much protein in it. So you could add something. You could ask if you could have, they've got halloumi, you can add chicken or something. Oh, and there's a risotto with parmesan. Sounds good.
It was.
And then salads. So the Caesar salad, I would try and get the dressing on the side if you were having it. Croutons are going to be high in carbs and fat. So it's probably not the best choice, the Caesar salad. It needs a bit of deconstructing. The New York Deli burger, that must be a new one. Sometimes burgers, and I've posted this before, can have less calories than the salad. So don't always assume a burger is a bad choice. I was listening, and I think we were talking about this at class today, to another blog, and this guy said if he ever eats out, he always skips the cheese and mayo just to save calories. So you could ask for your burger with no cheese. There's another burger, chickpea and coriander. That could be all right. Chicken breast burrito, I've had that before. That's quite nice. I think it is quite large. Salt and pepper squid is nice, but that's going to be deep fried. 300 gram chicken breast schnitzel. So again, that's a large serve of chicken, nearly like 2.5 times what you need for a serve, with chips and salad. And then a porterhouse schnitzel. That's their main menu, I think. So there's a few choices there that you could have. Try and find your meat or protein and then get your veg as well. And you can always ask for extra veg, I think, if you need. So someone said, best takeaway option. I guess, I mean, when I was training for my comp, and we actually went to America for 4 weeks while I did it. So I bought, well, I had to buy all my food, but if we ate out, I had to be pretty picky where we ate, but I often got the Subway salad, not really that tasty at all, but you can get a salad from there in a bowl and add chicken to it. And that's certainly a healthy option if you had to have that. McDonald's at the moment, I'm pretty sure now because you're ordering everything yourself, like on those screens, you can pretty much pick and choose what you want. So that can make it easier if you need to adjust things. I haven't actually done that myself. I haven't been there for a while, but I've heard that you can do that. So Macca's might be a good choice if you have to go there.
It does come up with the calories. Like if you're looking at the Uber Eats, it comes up with the calories for their base burgers, I think, as well.
For McDonald's?
Yeah.
All right. Let's have a look. I'll bring up Uber Eats. I used to work at McDonald's years ago and ate quite a lot of it. That's when it wasn't healthy. McDonald's. Oh, hang on. Top categories. Why doesn't that come up at all for me?
The calories, isn't it on there?
Or just McDonald's in general.
Oh.
Be on a takeaway, wouldn't it? Fast food. Hang on. I should look up the healthy option on here and see what comes up. Mr. Potato. I don't know about that. There's like sour cream and cheese. I don't know about that.
They're huge. Sorry to keep interrupting.
No,
they're
that's all right.
huge serves.
They look
The
big.
Mr. Potato, they're enormous. Yeah.
I don't think that would be low calorie. I wonder if they give you, oh, they give you the calories on there. That's interesting for Mr. Potato. So drop it like it's hot potato. Your choice of protein. I don't know how they can estimate the calories then if you're still choosing it. Plus bacon, onion, roast capsicum, eggplant, jalapenos, chili, and your choice of low-fat sour cream, cheese, and spring onions. And that is 1,200 kilojoules. So that's what, 300 calories. 300? It's got to be more than that. They haven't included everything. That's probably where people get confused as well, because they think that's the calories for all of it, but I'm pretty sure that hasn't got everything included in it. Let me go back and find McDonald's. Should be able to search for it, shouldn't you? No, it only comes up the Hungry Jacks for me. That's strange. Oh, Hungry Jacks they've got their calories on there too, actually. But yeah, if you can see the calories, then that will help you out. So your best takeaway options, I guess, if you're going out for lunch, or you just, like, say I know quite a few of you work at a hospital and you've got your lunch, so you need to grab something. Try and get a salad with some kind of protein on it, rather than a roll or like a Turkish bread that might have, or a focaccia or something, because you're going to get a lot more calories with the bread in a sandwich, focaccia, whatever. And the salad will probably have more calories than you think as well, depending if the dressing's separate, or if it's got croutons or dried noodles or whatnot. Sushi, I've posted about sushi sometimes. Don't assume that sushi is low calorie and healthy. When Aria was at kindy, there was a girl at kindy whose mum was Japanese, and I was talking to her one day and I said to her, I said, what's in the sushi? Because you know how it's kind of sticky. And she said they actually add spoonfuls of sugar to it. And that's why it's sweet. So ever since then, I've pretty much never eaten it. It's not my choice. I just don't find it very filling. To have like 2 or 3 rolls wouldn't fill me up. And there's hardly any vegetables there. So, and probably not enough protein. So doesn't mean don't have it, but just be aware of that. And it's probably why kids sometimes like it, because the rice is sweetened up. But I can post, I've got a graphic, I think, with the sushi. I can post that in the group. Someone asked, where would I go if I choose to eat out? So we don't eat out a lot. We might get takeaway at the most once a week, probably once a fortnight. And we tend to get burgers or fish and chips, fish and salad, just because I like burgers. And I'll have a proper burger, not a lettuce burger, and some chips. And, once a week or once a fortnight, that's fine. You can do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it twice in a week. I probably wouldn't feel that great if I did it. If we had takeaway twice, then the second time I'd get something different, maybe salad or a wrap, something a bit lighter, definitely. And pretty much like for lunch, unless I'm going out specifically, like meeting someone, I'm just always near home to make my lunch, either around then. Sometimes I don't have lunch till 2 o'clock, but if I'm out, I can wait. I don't need to buy anything to get me through. What's next? Eating at friends' houses. So this can be tricky because you can't choose what you're having, and it probably depends on your friends. But I guess, and I go to my parents usually every week because they have autumn on Tuesdays, and Mum. So my parents are quite healthy, but Mum will load us up with food when we're up there. She's always baking. She's got cakes, scones. She'll have ice creams in the freezer, soft drink, sausage rolls that she's made. And then she'll buy muffins when she's out with Autumn and cut them up and put them on the table. And it's easy to eat. And you feel like, oh, well, I don't see my parents that often. I've got to sit down and eat with them. And I guess when I first started, like 10 years ago, doing my comp and eating a bit healthier, she did get a bit offended when I wouldn't eat all the food. And we'd often stay for dinner as well. And in the end, she said to me, she goes, well, what can I make you that you will eat then? And I just said, just roast chicken for dinner and salad. And so then she was happy because that's what she'd do. So I guess if it's family, try and have a discussion with them and just say, I'd prefer to eat this now, whether you want to eat it or not. And if they don't, you might have to take your own or make your own. or take something to share, you know, like a food platter with hummus or something. But hopefully if they'll get on board with it and just have another option that you can then have as well. And I guess my parents generally eat pretty plain, so Mum was happy to do that. And now it's just, I mean, she'll still put out, because Warwick will eat it, and the kids, cakes and whatnot. And sometimes I'll have some, but not always, because it is easy to overeat on it. So if you're going to a friend's house, it's a bit harder. And I guess it depends what you want to do with, you know, how much you want to stick to your calories, and watching portion sizes, nibbles, things like that. You can try saying something, or just say, if they offer you something, say, oh, look, I don't really feel like that. It makes me feel sick. And I mean, I had all sorts of comments, especially when I was at the pharmacy, about why are you eating that, or why are you not eating this now? And I'd often just say, well, I just don't feel good if I eat it. So why would you want me to eat it if I'm going to feel sick after? And like for donuts and things like that, I never really liked donuts at work. And eventually they got the message and wouldn't offer it to me, which didn't bother me. There was one person who would consistently try and offer me, get me to eat chocolate, I think because he didn't like to see me succeeding with my weight loss goals. And in the end, I had to tell him to just fuck off. And then it worked. He never offered it to me again. He got the message. So that was a bit direct, but that's what I had to do for him. And I guess that's like a separate point. Some people won't be happy with the fact that you're trying to change, that you're trying to eat healthier. They'll derail you. They will, and sometimes it's more of a reflection of them because they can't do it. And I still get some people that will say that to me now, just because it's a reflection of them more, that they can't do it. So just stick to what you want to say. You know, this food makes me feel better. And that's what I say to the kids. I don't say, oh, I'm not eating that because it's too sugary or too fatty. I would say, I don't like that food. Doesn't make me feel good, and I'd rather eat something else instead. So yeah, eating at friends' houses. And then I think someone talked about the big, what was it? The all-day barbecues or something that someone has. And I guess the key is look at your overall intake. If you're not going to have your meal served for a couple of hours, you might not want to be nibbling on chips and dips and crackers and whatnot before you get your food. So you might not want to turn up starving. That's the other thing, or you will be tempted to nibble on that stuff or have a drink, and then, you know, all goes out the window. Barbecues, it's not actually that difficult to eat healthy. You can, you know, have a steak, chicken, seafood maybe, and lots of veg, either barbecued or a salad. You might want to skip the bread then, you can have sauce. And then I think the other thing we were saying was, you know, if you've got people that just always top up your drinks, just hold the same drink, pretend you're drinking it, or grab your own drink with a spritzer or something, as we were talking about. Or just say, you know, or drive, then you can't drink. Not much fun. But you can easily add up to a lot. Yeah, and if you're eating in and, you know, they've cooked a meal and you get there and it's a big lasagna with bread and garlic bread and chips, you probably just have to limit your portion sizes and get back on track the next day. But you could say then, oh, you know, have you got any salad? Or, you know, next time you go, think, oh, I might bring a salad along so that we can share, so you've got something else to eat. It is tricky. I won't lie about that. But you just got to do the best you can and not get stressed out over it. It's not worth doing that. But you don't want to be turning up to your friend's house with your own meal. They might get quite offended. I think, and then Georgie asked about banquet or feed me menus. So they're not too bad. You know, if you can get some suggestions in for some veggie dishes or proteins that are fairly plain, you know, then you can pick at them and just avoid the other dishes if they're, you know, fattier ones that you don't want, or just have a small portion and enjoy it. So yeah, just try and influence a few decisions so you get more veggies and protein. That would be my suggestion. Platters. Platters can be quite calorie dense. So, and then we were talking about cheese, and I actually had, I did Google camembert. Let me actually, I think I've got it on the computer. I think it's 1 gram of camembert is 3 calories. So, about 25 grams of cheese is about 75 calories, maybe more actually, because I know Rebecca sent me through a photo of a cheese, but I'm not sure what kind of cheese it was. And 25 grams is 100 calories, so that was more. The 25 grams isn't a lot. And you just think, you know, if you go up to a cheese board and you keep slicing, plus you add on a cracker, you can easily eat 400 or 500 calories. And then what you've got olives and meats, you know, salamis, whatnot, what else? So I guess for me, I used to eat a lot of cheese previously. And then once I started tracking it, I realized it's too difficult to fit in. And now I don't eat a lot of cheese at all. I have Parmesan on some pasta, but cheese and crackers just doesn't get me anymore. So you can change with time. But, I mean, it's taken a while. And also Warwick doesn't like cheese, so we won't buy it here. But yeah, that's probably not my choice of food to indulge in. I'm more of a sweet person anyway. So yeah, if you are tracking, you know, add some cheese in and see. The other thing is, you know, slice off what you'd normally put on your crackers and then weigh it and just see exactly how much you've got, because it might surprise you. It does add up. What else have we got? Oh, plant-based versus regular. And I guess this is kind of like the ice cream I posted in the group yesterday, the cashew-based one versus paddle pop, you know, which is healthier and which has more calories. And it would surprise most people that the paddle pop one had less calories. Most people think a cashew-based one, all because it says dairy-free. Dairy-free means it's healthy. Well, it doesn't. And anything like this, and this goes for cakes too and desserts, if they're not made with flour, but they're made with something else like almond flour, cashews, or some other kind of nuts. Nuts are high in fat. So it's actually probably going to have more calories than if it just had flour. And yes, it's a healthy fat, but it's still loaded with calories. So don't assume that it's an option that may fit in with your day. You could probably overdo it. So then, you know, your plant-based versus regular burgers. I haven't really looked at them, to be honest. It's not something I would ever eat or buy. I'd rather just have some meat. Some of them can have a lot of chemicals and things in them though. And yeah, they may not be any healthier. It just means it's not meat, but it's got other stuff in it. So you probably do need to read the labels, and that's, you know, how you learn about what's in foods is looking at the nutrition labels and just seeing how many calories are in 100 grams and how that will fit in, how many servings it is, and if you eat the whole thing. Options for dessert. So, I mean, I guess your healthiest options are some kind of fruit. If it's in a pie, then it's probably not the healthiest. But if you're going to have dessert, maybe share it with someone, and then you're not having the whole thing. I like dessert. I like chocolate desserts and ice creams. So I would probably save myself. I wouldn't have an entree. I'd save myself a dessert and have like brownie or something. And it will have more calories, but that would be my choice. But healthier options, not quite sure what other ones to say. maybe just plain ice cream, maybe. And then the best alcohol, you could probably do a whole different talk on the best alcohol. Basically, you don't really want mixer drinks if they're going to have soft drink mixed in, or juice, or cocktails, dairy, whatever, that will add a lot of calories. Your best options are wine, champagne, or spirits that are neat. And, if you're tracking, account for the calories in alcohol as either carbs or fat. So 100 mils of wine is about 100 calories. And you can measure it out if you're at home. So if you're drinking at home, I was listening to something the other day, and this person said, if you're drinking at home, keep the wine in a different room to where you're drinking it. So I guess if you're in the lounge, keep the wine in the kitchen, so that whenever you finish, you have to go back into the kitchen and pour yourself another one, rather than just having the wine with you and topping it up as you're going, because then you'll lose track of how much you've had. If you eat out, obviously unless you get a bottle, but otherwise you're ordering it by the glass, so you can keep track of it then. But if you're drinking at home, you'll probably drink a bit more than if you're out. So that's probably alcohol, wine, champagne, or neat spirits, and still track them. And obviously the more you drink, the less likely you are to stick to your eating plan and make good choices. We all know that. And then the other thing I had was coffees. Kind of gone around a bit here. So coffees can also add a lot. There can be a lot of different things added. And I like one thing I saw that said your coffee should not resemble a milkshake. So I personally just like plain coffee. I don't like it flavoured or sweetened with anything. So I did go through a phase where I drank long blacks. I didn't have any milk, and then I started adding milk back in. I can't remember why. So I'll have a dash of cow's milk in mine now, and I did measure it for a while because it's easy for your dash to become a third of a cup. And if I go out, I'll generally have like one milky coffee, but for me, I like my coffees hot as well, so I won't have like just a straight latte or a flat white. I'll usually ask for half milk, half water. So that reduces the milk down and also means it's extra hot. Or sometimes I have a piccolo that's a bit smaller, or a macchiato, or sometimes a long black, and I'll get milk on the side. Then I can control how much milk I'm having. And if I was going out and I was having 2 coffees, then the second one would definitely be a long black. I wouldn't have 2 milky coffees. I just find that too filling and not worth the calories in my day to have all that milk. So, things like sweeteners you can add. You can get sugar-free ones, but I'm pretty sure if you go out to a restaurant, they won't be sugar-free. So they'll have like, vanilla or caramel or whatever sugar in them if they add them. The other milks, so like almond milk, coconut milk, whatever, is fine. You might want to ask, it probably wouldn't be the unsweetened version. Okay, here on my nose. So just be aware of that, because the regular almond milk and coconut milk does have a fair bit of sugar in it. I think that's all I had to say about coffees. And I think that's about all I had written down. So do you have any questions, Sophie?
I was going to, so it's quickly just with the takeaway thing. So like we quite like Zambreros.
Oh yeah.
And I was looking at because on their website they have the calories for most of their dishes. So
Yep.
say you get like a bowl, not like a bread base, like not like a burrito or whatever, and it has like the chicken ones. Their base one is 464 calories. Should I add another 100 onto that just in case? Obviously, because you don't know.
No, that would probably be okay. You could.
Yeah.
They've got it. If they've got it there, just use what they've got.
Okay, cool.
But it's for places that don't have any calories at all.
Yeah, more like the restaurants and stuff that
Yeah. I'm just looking at their menu, just like a plain burrito, is it?
Yeah, also, or even just there, they do bowls. So like with the rice and the what does it have on there? Hang on. Yeah.
Oh, I see. A bowl.
Yeah. And they even do like a power bowl, which is extra protein in it, I think, too.
So do you pick everything and then it tells you your calories, does it?
I think it's, so basically it tells there's 8 things. I did have it up here, but now I can't see where it is. 8 things in it. And I think it must include all of it. And you can pick and choose which, if you want to add like guac or, but yeah, if you just pick the base one, then you know, I guess, exactly what's in it.
Yeah, and so with those sauces they've got Basilio, chipotle, garlic, red chili, secret barbecue.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that is.
So this would be without the sauces, I would say. So yeah, that's right. It does say without sauce. Yeah.
I'd probably get the secret barbecue sauce or red chili.
Yeah.
It's hard to say when you don't know.
Yeah. Or I would just have a sauce at home because then I know.
Yeah, you probably don't even.
Don't need to add it from there. Okay, cool. But yeah, no, that was, I think you covered everything.
Nachos probably aren't the best.
No, that's right.
So what's this? Power bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I looked at before. Is that the one on Goodwood Road? Is it Goodwood Road?
It's on Unley Road, where like the subway in the little Melbourne.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The subway that like near the car wash.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we were thinking the other night, we want takeaway, and I was like, is that a good option? And I just discovered that they had the calories on the website, so I thought, too bad. Yeah.
Yep. It certainly does help out when they do have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it's a start.
Yeah. Okay. But don't order the risotto at the end.
Well, you can. If you do 3 classes the next day.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh, thank you. That was good.
That's okay. I hope that's answered a few questions.
Yeah.
And yes. All right. Well, we'll leave it there.
Yep.
And I'll see you another time for another recording.
Thanks, Ali. See you.
That's okay. See you later. Bye.